Hello, this is Chodaros, and this tutorial will be on my next bracelet in the chain series. Not sure what I want to call it, but it is exactly what the Curb Your Enthusiasm is, which is this one on the right, except it does not have the center chain. So instead of putting 3 chains as I did in this one will only have a chain on the outside for the border, and then if using the correct beads, you can place 3 beads in the center. And when I say the correct beads, that I mean like I put 2 4mm beads, those are the black, and then the center is just a spacer bead, so it's light. So the lighter your bead, the better your bracelet will come out. Because see how it's flat? And this is just my opinion, you can obviously use your imagination, try whatever beads that you would like. If they're heavy, it might curl in, you know, and then that middle bead might pop up or something. And I always, like for the Curb Your Enthusiasm, I did give my strong opinion or advice on using what it really is. It's like a 4 by 6mm rondelle bead, but it is only, you can use any size chain that you want, okay? And I'm pretty upset that when I went to go and research what the actual link size is, it was very, very hard to find a description. So they say this is a 7-inch chain. Okay, so I bought this chain at Hobby Lobby. It doesn't have any type of closure on it. It's just a plain chain that's about 25 links in length. But you can use any type of chain as long as you place it with a bead that fits exactly inside that link. You have to do that so that way it is flat and it lays nicely inside there. Okay, so this other one here that I did for Curb Your Enthusiasm, this was the one I did in the tutorial, I used these spacer beads, and they're with rhinestones. You can see that they do not lay in that link. You see how that one is just kind of sitting there? Now this side, they almost do, because it was the first side that I did, so I could play around with them. But this one is done incorrectly, as those are not sized correctly for that link. So that's kind of what I've been trying to explain about using the right size beads. But to me, because those are clear spacers with just the outline of the rhinestones, and this is a silver chain, it's not very visible to the eye unless you look closely, and so it really wasn't that big of a deal to me. Alright, so with this one, it's really simple. Today I'm going to use these black chains, and again, they were purchased at Hobby Lobby craft store. I'll have the link below, and it only describes it to be a 7-inch chain. So these links are not a heavy, this is not a heavy chain. I know that they have thick links. These are a thick link. You can see them, that they're thick. And these links are a thinner link, but they do make chains that have even a thinner link than what this is. So even though I apologize immensely, trust me, I really am really, I get really upset when I cannot explain to the T for you, because I want you to be able to make this. But even though I can't give you the exact description of this chain, I do know that whatever size chain you choose, it only matters on what beads you put in there. So I hope that that gives you a little bit more comfort on making the bracelet and not the feeling of not knowing what supplies to grab. Okay, so these I believe are what, 25 links in length. and it just fits my wrist. I might have taken off a length, I'm not sure. But this one I believe is 26 links in length. So this is a heavy chain, as I explained. It's a thick chain, and you can see the space that I have down there. So I wanted to make this one just a tad smaller, but my wrists are a little bit smaller than some adults, so as I usually give away my bracelets, this one might fit most. So what I did at the end, I think I did the same thing with Curb Your Enthusiasm. I added a rubber band at the end here, and then I just took 2 jump rings to close it up. So I wanted to add these rubber bands because that will give you the elasticity to keep it intact while you put it on your wrist. If you just put a regular clasp at the end here with no rubber band, and you're just clasping these 2 links to these 2 links, you're not going to have any pull at all because your chain doesn't have any elasticity to it. Okay, so that might be something that you want to think about. So the 2 chains and the other supplies you'll need are your beads on your bands. So what I've chose is that rondelle spacer bead that I used in the Curb Your Enthusiasm, that one there, as my center, and then 2 4mm pearl white beads. Okay, so these are extremely light, so I know it's not going to weigh down, and I use the black cylindric bands, so that way these are such a pretty true black color that it will match my chain, so I don't want that look of a rubber band. Okay, and it's so simple as far as the concept. It is a little bit of a challenge just to get started, I guess, if you want to say, because it all depends on what size hook you have or what you can use to get inside of your links to grab your rubber bands. So I know I discussed in my Curb Your Enthusiasm tutorial that a regular loom hook will not fit inside my links. You may have a chain that's a little bit larger that it does. If you do not have a smaller size crochet hook, and the size I'm using is 3, a 3/0 size, and that fits right in there nicely for me. You can also use a threading material that you use to put your beads on your bands, or even as like a paper clip or another object that opens that you can use safely, you know. So like even this I could use. I can just put it on the end and kind of thread it, you know. Just use your imagination, whatever you can, to get those put in for you. So the other thing that I always try to explain is, because this is a curb chain, and a curb chain again is the one that lays flat, okay? It doesn't bubble up. All links are exactly the same, and that's what helps give us that nice straight line appearance. You want to make sure that you are looming these bands on it in order with it straight, because it is very easy to get turned around, and then that's what it will look like. You'll have one going this way, one going that way. So gravity is always your friend, because if you hold it up, it's always going to keep those links in line. So that may be something that you may want to do, or you can always have this last link here and you can pull a band through it, and then you could add the band onto your loom or something of that nature, where you're going to have stability to help you keep it in line for you, just more so like as a guide. Okay, so enough talking. Basically going to do that same stitch as we did on the Curb Your Enthusiasm. Is we're just going to do a plain single chain stitch down the side of the chain there. So I pulled my beaded band through, and again, you're going to use you need to bead as many links as you have on your chain. That is how many beaded bands that you need. So in this case, because I'm adding 3 beads, I need 3 beads per link. Okay, so that's how you'll need to think on how many beads you need. So if I have 25 links, then I used 50 of these white pearl beads and 25 of those rhinestone spacers. Okay, enough jibber jabber. I'm gonna leave that first. Nah, I'm gonna do the first link. I think I did on this one. Yeah. All right, so I'm just going to stick the one end through. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm super sorry for keep talking. It's very, very, very important that your beads are exactly in the center, okay? Because you want your bracelet to come out even on both sides of your chain, and it's really going to depend on what type of band that you use. So do not pull on your bands. If you're using a stretchy band, like a metallic or such, or an opaque that has a lot of elasticity, do not pull on it. Let that band sit exactly as it is, you know, like don't hurry up and stretch on this, because once you stretch it, it takes a while for it to go back, if it goes back. So trying to make sure that you do not replicate my mistakes. So once you get that band through that link, we would just want to take our hook and go down to that next link in line, making sure that it is straight, and then simply grabbing the next beaded band, pulling it through the link and the band on our hook, and just going down to that next link. That's it. So through the link, through that band on our hook, and then assuring our chain is straight, going down and putting our hook into the next link. So if you've done the Curb Your Enthusiasm, this is the step that we do after we put the chain through the center of those beads. So we're just eliminating that part for this bracelet here. Okay, so I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to look back at my chain, making sure that it's nice and smooth, nice and straight. If I should have happened to make an error, I would only have to take apart 1 or 2 links to fix it. So you want to do that to eliminate having the whole bracelet done and then having to redo all of it. And trust me, once you get these beads, these beaded bands on this chain like this, it's impossible to go back and move that link around to make it straight. I've tried and I had no success. I had to take the bracelet apart to fix it. So I'm using the limited edition bands or the round bands. Well, one, because I love how the color comes out. It's true to its known color. So black is actually black. It's not a light gray or, you know, like a gray, a muted black. But they have the least amount of elasticity to them. And that makes me confident that they're not going to stretch, and one side of my bracelet is going to have more of the band showing on the edge than the other. Okay, so that's all there is to it. And I'm just going to pull the band through here for a second and clip it so I can kind of show you. It's gonna curl up like that until we do the other side. But my chain is a true black color, and it matches my bands to the T. So as I mentioned, I've always been one that my challenge is to make sure that I never want I try to make some of my bracelets not look like rubber band jewelry, and I think that's what catches a lot of people's attention. But Artisan Loom and is it Hooked on Looming? I'm sorry, I have to go back and look and see what her name is, but have made ones that you can see the bands and it actually looks beautiful. So that's what you should have so far. So obviously, to do the other side, we just flip it and do the exact same process. So let's go ahead and we'll work on our own and take this all the way down to our last link. And when you get to your last link, just do it as I just did. Either use a C-clip or any type of clip or a slip knot just to keep it secure until we can start the other side. Okay, so I do have the one side complete. It is going to maybe have a little couple cranks or something in it, and it's going to flip around and not be perfect, but like I said, that will all go away once we stitch up the other side. And these like to move around. There we go. So to close, I did not add an extra band. I just did as we were doing, pulled that beaded band through that link. But I did use a hook. I used a clip that would allow me to clip the chain and that band to keep it nice and tight against that link, so that way when I go to loom this side, I don't feel I need to pull because there's so much left over there. So one very, very important point I'd like to make, or suggestion, if you're using non-LE bands or very elastic bands, please do not pull this side. Do not take your beaded band and push these beads up against this chain to make it nice and tight. I have done that and I ruined the bracelet. As Artisan Loom did the same thing, and she noticed that she had more band showing on one side than the other. I don't care if there is a little bit of a band showing or you have a huge part of the band showing. However it is right now, leave it be, okay? If you pull these bands to make it nice and taut against this side we just did, you are going to have an amazing amount of extra band hanging out when we do this side. So just a large piece of advice that I can give, and I always try to give you advice based off of the screw-ups that I made so you do not replicate. I did explain that in my video for Curb Your Enthusiasm, and some people have done it because it's just in our nature. I mean, it's just, if we see something uneven or it's not, you know, nice and straight, it's just in our nature to want to try to fix it. So don't do it. Okay, doing the same exact thing. So we're putting our hook through this chain, and then all we're doing is grabbing this side of that beaded band, sorry, and pulling it through that link. Again, very imperative that you are ensuring that your chain links are straight. Then we go through the next link, grab that next band, pull it through that link and the band on our hook. And that, my friends, is it. That's how simple it is. It seriously probably takes 5 minutes to make this bracelet, as long as you have all of your beads on your bands already. It probably will take 5 minutes to loom it. My biggest challenge is just making sure that my chain is straight. I guess it's because once you mess up one time, you're always, you know, checking to make sure. So always making sure it's nice and straight. But it is a beautiful, I by all means, not trying to toot my own horn or anything, by all means, trust me, because it's not like I invented this. It's been done in the jewelry industry, just with stretch cord, but we're just doing it with our bands. But it really is a beautiful outcome. It's a beautiful bracelet, comfy, lots of possibilities, easy and different. So once you get in the zone, you can pop all of this through pretty quickly. These crochet hooks don't have a tip on them. It's, you use these kind of bands, they don't have much room for you to hook it. Okay, last link. Make sure that this right chain is straight, so I'm grabbing the band the right position. Ta-da! We're done! Oops, sorry. So again, I'm going to put my band through this link, or put my hook. So now I have all four on my hook. Actually, oh, wait a second, let me take it right side out. I want to take that out, that link out. I just want to put the rubber bands on my hook. I'm going to take this holder out. Okay, and then I'm just going to add another band like this. Okay, and then you can add your closure, which just for a tutorial I'm gonna add a C-clip. Okay, and then I want to take this off, and so this one just has there is no band to grab, right? Because we started the looping down here. So you want to make sure that your links are straight, and then you want to do the same thing, is you want to add a band through here. And so I'm just going to add another C-clip so that way I don't have to close it. I want to keep it straight for this second. Oh no! And there we have it. I think I might call this, I don't know, maybe Blinger Enthusiasm. It sounds like such a blech name for such a beautiful bracelet. It is gorgeous. I am so proud of this one. Seriously, you will never tell that is rubber bands. Ever. Fits perfectly. Very elegant, sparkles, just beautiful. So, June, look what your bands can make. That's pretty darn cool. See, the little bit of imagination. We still used your loom, but just the possibilities are endless. So again, this is the second one in my chain series. Here is the first one that I created. Use your imagination and you would be amazed on what you can come up with. So again, thanks guys for joining me. It means the world to me. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and it excites me more to see what you guys can come up with. So thanks again. We'll see you next time because I have 3 more in this series. Bye-bye.